Hello. Welcome to Using Another Man's Tools. My name is Devin, and this is a introduction. So, for those of you that waited and been patient with me, I truly appreciate it. It means a lot that you're here. So, I want to talk about what this is going to be about. First and foremost, this podcast is to help those who are struggling, mostly myself, to come to grips with, or to learn, to grow, to get better. It's about life, about leadership, it's about rebuilding, it's about faith and just believing in what's been left behind. I didn't start this podcast to teach. I came to the conclusion that I need something to help me deal with some of my own issues and struggles with being a dad, being a stepdad. I guess a bit about me. I'm a military veteran, spent time in the United States Army. I'm a father of 4 of my own beautiful, wonderful children, and a stepdad proudly to my stepson. And I'm divorced, remarried, and that's tough, right? Nobody ever goes into marriage with the expectation that I'm going to get divorced. This is going to be great. No, it's not. It's tough. And if you're going through divorce, I'm truly sorry. My heart goes out to you, and I know the pain that you're walking through, and hopefully this can help walk through some of it together. I started this podcast, or I'm starting this podcast to learn out loud. I believe that we can learn anything if we go through it, as long as we're willing to learn about it and to grow in the process. I really, truly believe that through every failure, there's opportunity, and it's not always bad, it's good. I mean, there are some things that happen that are just atrocious and terrible, and I have unfortunately, like many of my brothers and sisters in arms, had to come face to face with those things. But it's what you take from it and what you leave behind that really matters. I also started this podcast because there were tools that I was not given. And that's not a diss on my parents, my grandparents, anyone who was influential. I learned a lot from a lot of folks, and I'm so grateful. But again, I think I learned how not to be just as much as I learned how to be, just through experience. There are a lot of folks out there, men mostly, I think, and forgive me for that, but there's a stigma out there that we should be stronger and we should be tough and we should be manly. In my opinion, and that's what it is, I believe that's pretty toxic. We are deep seated in emotion, and it depends on how we handle those emotions that makes us men of character and structure and stature or not. And I think there's a lot of men out there who are grieving quietly, like myself, grieving alone. They're trying to lead and they don't have a map, right? It's nowhere to be. They are parenting without a healthy example. I think that goes for a lot of folks, not just men, but women too. Sometimes women, they have that internal motherhood instinct, but they weren't given a good example by their parents either. And there's those out there, myself included, who are trying not to repeat cycles that they never chose to begin with. Cycles of abuse, cycles of addiction, cycles of loss, cycles of pain and suffering. And deep down, we all know that that's not what was intended for us. And there is something better out there. And this podcast is my way of trying to figure that out. I have been blessed to have some really great examples in this part of my life that have poured into me and stood by me through addiction, through attempts at taking my own life. And if that's you out there, if you're listening to this and you think that life's not worth it, please get help. It's the pain that you are in is temporal, it's temporary, It's finite. I know it feels like, I don't know, it feels like forever, but it's going to pass. And you can reach out. You can get help. The help is out there, and the world is better with you in it. So please, please get help. I guess that leads me to the name of the podcast, using another man's tools. I kind of hit me. I was going downstairs into our basement to we were working on our project, hanging pictures or something, and Heather, my wife, needed a hammer, and I hadn't yet gotten my tools set into my tool chest or toolbox out in the garage. So I came downstairs and found a hammer, and I picked it up and I realized this is not mine. This is Nick, my wife's late husband's hammer, and all that hit me pretty hard. Nick died of bacterial meningitis when Heather was, I believe, 6 months pregnant with their firstborn child, and he toughed it out for a week, but he eventually succumbed to that infection and passed away. He was 29. And that hit me so hard that I'm now in a position where I'm using this man's tools and he's not here. It's not because he chose to not be here. It's because he had that choice taken from him. It carries a lot of weight stepping into that position and then coming to the full knowledge of the gravity of it in particular. Great metaphor, right? Using another man's tools could mean from father to father, grandfather to grandson. You can insert, if you choose to use different pronouns, it's mother using another woman's tools. It's just a metaphor, but it's a metaphor for parenthood. It's a metaphor for leadership, for faith, for masculinity even. I didn't get great tools from my father. I think I've come to a point now of understanding that my father was very hurt in his own right. And I think he didn't get a great set of tools from his father, nor did his father get them from his father. There's a lot of quote unquote tough love out there in that family in particular. And sometimes tough love is good. Don't get me wrong, but there's a limit. Tough love with making sure somebody doesn't quit, making sure they don't give up when you can see their potential, and not allowing them to be less than who they could truly be, and being tough on them in that regard. That's one thing. But to have heavy hands and heavy words and to make someone feel less than their worth is not good, and to say the least. And that's unfortunately what a lot of us have had to go through, I think. And if that's you out there, you're not alone. And again, it's okay to be there, but it's what you do about it right now. What you choose to say and do, and what you choose to do to move forward, I think, is what's important. You can choose to stay in that hard place. We've got a few choices in life. I've narrowed it down to 3, right? But you can take this and use it however you will. 3 choices. You can stay where you're at. You might be happy there, or you may not know what's going on. It's your mess and you know it, and you're comfortable there, and you don't want to step out of that because the unknown hurts and it's scary. And I get that 100%. I stayed in a marriage far too long because of that, because it was my mess, and it was the mess that I was comfortable with, and the mess that I knew. So I chose to stay. Option 2 is you can go, and you can go in a lot of different directions. You can choose to not be a part of that relationship. You can choose to not be a part of that friendship. You know, there's a lot of things you don't have to do. And we'll get into that later on in some of these episodes. But that's one choice. And the third choice is you can complain about it. And that doesn't fix anything. Complaining for the sake of complaining, while it may get something off of your chest, it doesn't necessarily help the situation. And I had to learn that the hard way. I tend to vocalize my opinion under the guise of, oh, I'm just saying what's real, and it's just complaining. So learn that the hard way. But there's a lot of things you can do, and hopefully by talking through some of these things and working through them together, we'll figure out what works best for us. Because maybe what works for me doesn't work for everybody, and that's okay. We're all in this together, right? This is a journey that we're just trying to get through together, make it a little bit brighter day by day. Again, a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm a veteran, United States Army. Very proud of that. It made me a better person. It got me out of where I grew up. I would not have had the opportunities I've had without that. So I'm very, very grateful to the Army. I'm a leader in my home, at work, wherever I go. I believe we're not just leaders or followers. I believe we're all leaders in our own regard. We all have circles of influence, if you will, that we can affect positively or negatively by the energy that we bring to the situation and how we handle things and our emotional intelligence. And I do my best to try to bring humor and levity, but also a sense of gravity and seriousness when that is required. And I believe that as an employer, our best tools, the most wonderful tools we have at our fingertips, are our people. Those are the folks that are getting it done. And we'll talk about leadership a lot too. That's what my degree is in. Very proud of that fact. I'm a stepdad, like I said. I never came into being a step parent as I'm going to save the day. I'm going to be a hero. No, this is a different animal, and it's scary sometimes. And if you're a new parent or a new step parent, just know that you're not alone in all this, that it is going to be hard. And if you've got an easy child, like my stepson is, man, I'm so grateful. He's so wise and he's so kind. And that's because his mother is so wise and so kind. They were alone for 10 years before I parachuted in with my Hot Mess Express and fiery dumpster of grief and anguish to explode a claymore of just absolute craziness into their lives. But if you're a new step parent, it's going to be okay. There are going to be days. It's when you take a deep breath, drink some water, face out, take a look around, find a path forward. I am a person who I've learned a lot. I haven't learned it all. I have failed a lot, and I will humbly go through some of those failures. I delight in my failures. Oddly, it's a weird thing to say, I know, but those failures make me strong, and they make my family strong. And it took me a long time to get to that point, but that's where I'm at today. I refuse to give up. I fail, but I still show up, even though it hurts. And I'm learning to do that too. And I'm still becoming. I'm not finished yet. And I think a lot of us can really come to that together. We're not done yet, folks. We're at different points of our journey, and I think that's a great thing, right? Because the parts of us that have learned and grown while apart, that can come back together and share those things with somebody else who's learned and grown, and we we learn and we grow together. And I think that's the beauty of humanity. And I think that's the beauty of society. I think that's the beauty of just our fascinating, wonderful world that we live in. This podcast really isn't about arriving. It's about getting into and staying in the work that it takes to be a good person, a good step parent, good mom, good dad, good husband, good wife. It's about staying in that. So what does that mean? What can we expect from this podcast? Right now, really in the early stages. This is fun for me. I'm taking this up as a hobby. I'm sure it'll get more formatted and formulaic, but I've got quite a few episodes already like picked and chosen. I've got subjects for those. And really it's what I've learned so far, and it's going to be great. I'm excited to share. I'm excited to grow together. I'm excited to learn together. I'm hopeful that some of the failures that I've experienced can help others to not go down those same paths and experience those same pitfalls that I did. I think that's the big part of it. So there's going to be a lot of me, and I hope that's okay. Stories. There's going to be a lot of stories. I love telling stories, but not sermons, right? I am a man of faith, but I'm not a pastor. I don't have any of that figured out, but my stories will have a faith edge. So that's not going to be a huge portion of what we talk about, but faith is important to me. So it's going to be in there. I'm a fan of humor, sometimes dark, as my military brothers and sisters can attest. We have a very dark sense of humor sometimes. So I'll do my best to keep it light, family friendly, right? But yeah, there's definitely some humor, but timely and where it needs to be. As I said, I'm a man of faith, and that's become, especially as I get older, more and more important to me. It's a way to be grounded, but it's not going to be a lot of fluff with that faith. There's going to be faith where it belongs, and faith to just see another day and to talk about some hard topics. I should have given a warning about this, and I apologize, but as a person who's seen and been through a lot, I will talk about that, but always know that it will be with a sense of respect and gravity. I don't take these things lightly, especially living in the country that I live in. I believe a lot of folks take things for granted, and I don't want to be that. And I think it's important that we talk through these hard situations, because you can't appreciate truly wonderful things. You can't appreciate the light without experiencing the dark. And I've been through a lot of dark in my short time on this earth, and I want to use that to help people and to help them maybe get through something that seems just impassable. And I think I wish that somebody would have stepped up and helped me. So I want to be that for someone else. If it's just one person, then hey, that's a win for me. And I want to keep this practical, right? Like there's a lot of, we could go on and drone on about things, but how do we put it into practice? How do we take these lessons and put them into practical practice? So we're going to have what I'm going to call effectively the tool talk, maybe a step up moment where we can step up. We're also going to have progress moments and progmess moments, because we are all works in progress. Thank you, Coach Lasso, for that. What a wonderful thing. If you haven't watched that show, I'm not sponsored by anybody, but man, what a great show, and what a good thing. So yeah, if you're in that boat along with me, if you're struggling to try and figure out what mess you've got yourself into, if you're terrified and scared that you don't know what's going on, I've been there. I think a lot of us have, and you're okay. and it's going to be okay. And one thing I've learned is don't make any decisions when you're hungry, when you're tired, or when you're emotionally charged. And if you're in any of those three places, hey, if you're hungry, get some protein, get some chicken, right? I'm not going to put anything out there. Chicken sandwich, one of the best things that'll save your butt. If you're tired, sleep, get some good solid rest. Make that time for you. Take care of yourself. And then if you're emotionally charged, take a deep breath, hold it, and let it out. And just keep telling yourself, it's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. This is going to be okay. And just breathe in and breathe out. And every time you breathe out, let a little bit more of that tension go. And you'll find that in those moments, you can really let things go and you'll feel a lot better. So that's about it for the intro portion of using another man's tools, or as I'm going to call it, UAMT, because I love me some acronyms. But here's the thing: it's going to be good. I'm excited. I'm excited to learn and grow with everybody here. I'm excited to have some guests. Eventually, going to go over some books, things like that. Everything that's going to help. But it's also going to be just us working on this together. And you'll probably laugh at me and go, man, that was really stupid. And you know what? You're probably right. I'm a stubborn mule and I'll figure it out eventually, right? But I appreciate your kindness. I appreciate your patience. If you're in the middle of something, be it grief, loss, regrowing something, just losing something that you thought you could never be without, you're not alone. It's going to be okay. So if any of this sounds like it'll appeal to you, then hey, I'm excited to be here. Grab a cup of coffee. Let's pull up our tools. We'll sit down, we'll talk it out together, and we'll get to work. So again, my name's Devin. This is Using Another Man's Tools. Happy to be here. Let's get to work.